From the campus of Arkansas State University, this is Centennial Reflections.
On to victory, breaking the second to none. Let's make this game history, along with the others in one. For red and white shall ever wave on high for ages through.
Welcome to Centennial Reflection, a program that looks at the history of Arkansas State University back from the time it was an agricultural school in 1909 to the present status as a multi-purpose university. I'm Richard Carville, and I'm host for this program series, and I'm very pleased to be joined today by Emeritus Professor of Art, Evan Lindquist. Evan, it's good to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
You came to Arkansas State University in 1963.
Right.
And retired 40 years later. You were doing your graduate studies at the University of Iowa. How in the world did you find out about a job opening at Arkansas State College it was then?
Well, the job actually was never advertised. What happened was that one of our friends who had been at University of Iowa took a job down here, and then at Christmas time she came back to Iowa City and she said, you know, there's going to be a job open in Jonesboro. And I said, I don't know where that is. And she said, well, I wouldn't ask you to take that job or to go there and apply for it because the facilities are horrible. And I said, well, I need a job. So I just got in the car and I drove down here, and I met Dan Howard and Leonard Farley, and I met Dwayne H. Haskell, who was the chairman of the Fine Arts Department, or division in those days, I guess. And they told me that if I take a job, that I would have to be teaching in an old condemned dairy barn, and eventually in a condemned brooder house, and maybe someday in an old hangar. And
gives a new definition to the word art, right?
Well, artists are accustomed to working in industrial space. We like that. But I wasn't sure I wanted to go into an old brooder house or dairy barn. But we talked this over, and Dan Howard and Leonard Farley had a really great plan. They believed that the only way that we would get any new facilities here would be if we were able to pay for them by getting new students and be the best art department in the state. So that's what they were going to do. And I said, I want to be a part of that, and so that was our plan. We went to Little Rock and we took carloads of art, student art and faculty art, and we put these things into at least 10 exhibitions at the Arkansas State Festival of the Arts. And we put the student work in the first floor rotunda of the Capitol building.
Uh-huh.
And we just outdid every other university and school in the state.
Now, you had a friend who was setting all of this up.
Well, I never met her. She wasn't really a friend, but she certainly became a friend of the department.
She was a friend of Arkansas State College.
Mrs. Van Weathersby was the organizer, the president of the State Festival of the Arts. And she went all over the state saying, the best art department is in Jonesboro.
Word of mouth advertising.
That was it. And of course, then we couldn't say, well, we're not.
We're not.
So we had 2 faculty members, and then me, I was the 3rd one, and we added a 4th one. But the thing that we wanted to do then was to make this a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we did our very best. I liked that challenge, and I think we did pretty well at it.
Well, it wasn't long after you came here that the Fine Arts Center was built, was
That's
constructed.
right. In 1967, we moved into it. And it was largely because of that name that we had made, because Carl Rang decided that they need some new facilities. This is pretty bad over here.
And that was really statewide publicity that you were getting because of those exhibits in
That's
Central
right.
Arkansas.
You know, we couldn't wait to look at the Arkansas Democrat newspaper on Sunday morning, because that's when all the prizes were announced. And so we looked for our names and our students' names.
And your students and the faculty, your fellow faculty members, won a bushel load of those prizes.
That's right. And in fact, in our second year, we invented a system, or I should say Dan Howard did. He invented a system of hanging artwork in the second floor rotunda, which was all marble walls. And then we were given the second floor rotunda, and we exhibited there as a faculty for several years after that.
Now, why did this person who originally told you there was going to be an opening at Arkansas State, how did that person know there was going to be an opening?
Because she was not going to return.
Oh,
to
she was
Arkansas.
the person who was in that position.
There's no way I'll go teach in that place again.
Well, hiring practices were a little bit different in those days. They would identify someone, and you were the one who was identified.
I just happened
and
to
asked
roll
him.
in on the right day, and they made up a contract that day, and I took it back to Iowa, thought it over for several days, and went to a few other interviews, and finally decided, okay, I'm going to take that challenge.
Your only job in higher education at Arkansas State, 40 years.
That's right.
Well, we'll talk more with Evan Lindquist as we come back after this break.